Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Walnut Lodge Saturday morning flow. This is the Volant location. It's 8:30 on a pretty dreary day, and I have my long sleeve new shirt on again because it's cold. So that's the weather report. This is our second week. I'm still working through this series. We're going to continue with the same series all summer. It'll take me that long to kind of suss out things. So if you want a more energizing practice, just go to the YouTube channel. There's a whole bunch of other things to pick from. But if you're going to stay with me this morning, and I see Corey is here, and there's other people, but I don't know who you are. And I want to thank Corey for the feedback from last week. Remember, too, I really appreciate this kind of feedback because this material in this series, it used to be just one series, and it's so much stuff. I'm trying to break it down into a couple different ones. But all right, so that's what the summer's about for me. So I'm playing with these two blocks here. We're going to need a couple blocks. I also have a cushion and a strap. I'm not really sure about the strap today, but it's nice to have it on hand. All right, so we're going to start with a little back warm up. Last week we did the cats, the small cats. Today we're going to go with a block warm up. All right, and it's because a lot of this beginning of this series is all extension, back extension, and flexion. And you know, it's early in the morning. I just got up a little while ago. I'm kind of stiff. You know, it's not too bad. So we're going to put this block right up against our spine, and we're going to go back. You know, your block's going to dig. If you don't have a block, you can roll up your yoga mat. It's not quite as intense, but I'm going to kind of wiggle myself down. And then this other block is for your head. So you're just going to get down here, and you're going to start breathing. You're going to try to release the whole front line as that back line is trying to adjust to that pretty big curve that the block is creating. If you had a foam roller, you could do the same thing. I like the blocks better than the foam roller because I like to feel that edge because I can focus on that one point. So now I have 2 points. I have the edge closest to my tailbone and the edge closest to my shoulder blades. So just breathing and releasing this. And then as soon as you feel like, things are adjusting, if you can, move the block to the lower position. If not, you know, just keep the block there underneath your head. A couple more. And then if you can take it away completely, just keep breathing, releasing. Now bend the knees, soles of the feet on the ground. Wiggle yourself forward just a couple inches. And then you can release the legs again if you want. And then tuck your chin hands behind your head. And we're going to pull up into just, a baby crunch. We're not trying to come off the block. What we're doing is we're just bending our spine and we're using the stomach here to help us. So we're just going to inhale, let yourself go back to kind of a straight line, and then exhale. We're just coming up a couple inches. Of course, you can feel that in your stomach because your torso is, hanging over something. So there's a little bit more weight for the stomach to pull. But we're just going inhale and then feeling the whole rectus pull together. Just to say hello to that. When you inhale, make sure you feel this part of your ribs expand because we're trying to just let that go and your head is held so your neck isn't going to be compromised at all. So just a couple more. Feel your inhale going front, but can you feel the inhale on the block also? So feel those ribs expand. This brings a lovely stretch, but also, awareness to the whole mechanism. All right, so hold this, bend your knees again, wiggle forward just another couple inches, right? So tuck your tailbone under. I'm going to pick my pelvis up a little bit, dig my heels into the mat, and pull my sit bones towards my heels. So I feel my low back getting longer. Now we're going to do a couple breaths here, trying to push your low back, your sacrum, towards the ground. Don't worry about the upper part of your body. It will automatically do something, but just focus on the exhale, pressing the sacrum into the ground. So what I like to feel is two things. One, my pubic bone pulling up against the spine. And then the second thing is feeling the sit bones reach towards the heel. So if you really focus on the pubic bone and the sit bones at the same time, you're going to get that posterior tilt of the pelvis. And if you focus on the sit bones and kind of reach, you kind of de-weight that lower part and you pull the low back even more, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to lengthen that as we wake up the stomach. These are really small movements, just a couple more. Last one. And then release yourself back. Let the legs go straight. That block is higher on your back now. Actually, the top edge is, at the bottom edge of my shoulder blades. You have a lot more opening of the rib cage. Throw your arms to the side and just let yourself breathe the ribs up. Make sure you feel a nice exhale when you release that breath, and feel the exhale release that whole back line for you. Take your hands again behind your head. You can bend your knees if you want. I'm going to leave mine straight. I'm going to tuck my tailbone and move my low back a little bit longer. And then I'm going to just pull my legs in so I can feel that connection of the sit bones to the heels. So that's activating that hamstring line. And so what I'm doing by digging the heels in, I can feel my sit bones reaching towards the heels. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the previous round. On the exhale, you're going to try to pull that sacrum into the ground. Inhale, just let your body go. Exhale, you're pulling. You're still on the block. We're just mobilizing. And then what's nice about this lower edge is your spine isn't going to move off of that, but you're going to try to lengthen it so that that low back starts getting closer to the ground. Just on your own breath rhythm. So now I feel like I have my sacrum down. I'm still thinking about and doing those two things. On the exhale, I'm pulling my pubic bone up towards the spine, and at the same time, on that exhale, I'm reaching my sit bones towards my heels to try to get a little bit more length out of that low back. Just a couple more. One more. Keep that. Wiggle yourself forward. Another, just a couple rocks. Like I'm going, I feel like a couple inches have moved forward on the block. Then, again, release back. Now my head is just barely touching. So for some of you, this is a place where you really might want to have that second block. Really high on the back. The top edge of that block is really almost to my 7th cervical. Couple more. And then again, hands behind your head, tilt your chin in. Now, spend a little bit of time here because that's a big neck extension, this last one. Bend the knees. Lift your sacrum, reach your sit bones. Now, actually right here, my sacrum is all on the floor. So this is just our last round. So we inhale. Exhale, trying to get the waist down. So just keep going on your inhale and exhale. I'm not going back very far. We're just kind of rocking forward a couple inches. Working on just stretching that low back. It's really similar to the cat-cow that we started with last week. The stomach is a little easier to get in this. Although you activate the same muscles in the cat-cow. And then the feeling of the back on the floor really gives you a better position and place because you have more input. You can really feel that low back lengthening here. And so when we take this into the cats again next week, really try to remember what we did here. We don't go all the way back into the cat, or the cow rather, on this. We just work the front, and then when we go back into this arch, that's the same thing as the arch, but it's way more extreme here in this little exercise. So just one more. And then wiggle forward. And now when you lay down, try to get the back edge of the block on the back of your skull. And then your neck is going to be actually lengthened on this round, and your whole spine is just kind of caving into the ground. One more big inhale. And then roll off of your block. Relax your neck. And then roll yourself up to sitting. All right. So just put your legs out in front of you. I adjust my headband. I like the headbands and I don't like the headbands. I'm probably one of those people that just should get their head shaved. All right. So what I want you to do is we're just going to snake our spine. So sit up nice and tall and then pull your pelvis back, curve, push it forward, undulate forward, back, forward, back, just a couple of these, forward. Now before doing that stretch, I couldn't achieve this kind of fluid motion. Yeah, feels good. Just a couple more. Now, what I want you to do is dig your heels into the ground, bend your knees, and then feel the front of your pelvis go forward. This is kind of the opposite of what we just did. So we were laying on our backs, digging the heels, and then trying to feel the tailbone reach under, right? So that's activating the hamstrings. When we're here, the feet are just an anchor, like a brace, a point to pull to. We're going to use that to activate our hip flexors. So you're going to take that line of the pelvis and push it forward. I'm sure that you can all do this. You feel the front of the legs engage, and then you release, the pelvis rolls back. We're not tucking under, you're just releasing. So you're going to go forward and release. And you're going to go forward and release. A couple more. Forward and release. Forward and release. One more. Forward and release. All right, so, we've warmed up that a little bit. Flex your ankles. So we worked on this last week. We worked on this position where the metatarsal head of the little toe is down, the heels are up, the knees are dropping out, and we pushed it to straight. And then we're going to rotate, try to get those little toes down and pull them in. You're going to push them out, and you're going to pull them in. Now we're not going to go very far with this because we're going to add a torso to this. So with those legs rotated out, dig the heels, bend the knees just a little bit. Try to rotate the toes to the ground. Doesn't matter how far they come, but what you're looking for is as you rotate rotate the legs and dig the heels, can you feel that same pelvis line pulling forward with the hip flexors? All right, so we're going to pull that. And then you're going to stretch the legs. And we're going to add flex and point of the feet just to warm up the feet for the toe thing that's coming. So we're going to flex. And when you flex, try to pull those little toes down towards the ground and you can see them open. Yes? And then pull them down into this almost fist-like position, right? Trying to pull the toes into the arch. So there's a lot more activation of the foot in this series. All right, so just a couple more of these just to get used to that feeling. So little toes scrape along the rug if you can. They lead back. You spread them as wide as you can. Then you push the legs to straight, knees straight, and you point your ankles, dorsiflex, and then pull the toes into your arch. And again, pull Whoops, wrong way. And point, pull. And so if I have any dancers out there, this is right out of a Graham class, right? Or Martha Graham got this from yoga. Not really sure how that works anymore. All I know is that it really is working for me, right? All right, let's see, I like that better. All right, so now what we're gonna do, point, little toe flex, bend the knees a little bit, pull. I'm only pulling a couple inches because I'm trying to get my pelvis forward. And then as you stretch the legs, stretch the knees, point the feet. So we go flex, knees bend, pull the pelvis, and push the heels, straighten the knees, and point your feet. Flex and pull, pelvis forward, and push and point. And flex and pull and push and point. Just one more of these. Flex and pull and push and point, and then just release. Now if your legs aren't rotated out this much, no big deal. My legs like to be like this because I've been doing this forever. Your feet might be up here. So as you rotate, maybe that's all the farther you're going to get. That's okay. What we're looking for is that outer edge of the foot to dig into the ground. We use this in the side planks. We want to feel that whole outer edge to the little toe into the floor. All right, so that's what the legs are doing in this. Now, what the arms are doing here is we're interlacing our fingers nice and tight, and then we're going to put them behind our heads, kind of where we were before, but we're going to pull the elbows, and we're going to try to pull the fingers. So we're not going to let the fingers go. We're going to interlace them, and we're going to try to pull them apart. Now, feel what happens to your shoulder girdle as you try to pull your fingers apart. You kind of have to resist with your fingers, right? You're going to try to pull them apart. Feel your shoulder blades. Now, as you keep doing this, release, pull. Can you feel your chest going forward? So what you're trying to feel is those shoulder blades kind of pulling underneath, well, pulling down and in, kind of underneath the chest to give you a little bit of arch, right? So let's see, up this way. All right, so as I'm doing this, you can feel a little bit of arch through the back, right? And we just spent, time working with the block there. So now we're going to try to mobilize that extension, the arch, right? Not the curl. All right, so your hands are behind you, behind your head, and we're going to pull open and lift and look up. Just do that much. And then release, curve forward. Do that again. Try to pull the fingers open, push the ribs forward and up. Try to feel that arch. Now just hold this a second. Can you feel your hip flexors engage here? So you should feel the thighs pulling into the pelvis, and then that whole line of the chest lifting up. And then release. All right? So now we're going to connect this arch to what the legs are doing. Now, this is super complicated, so I'm going to just do the position first, and then we're going to add the inhale, exhale to this. And I'm probably going to regret wearing this shirt because, when you do this kind of work, you can get pretty hot. All right, so we're going to take our hands behind our head, and we're just going to relax over. Feel your pelvis go over. I'm only going to go this far because if I go farther, it's really hard for me to talk. So then what you're going to do is you're going to flex your ankles, dig your heels, push your pelvis forward, and then try to feel your chest scoop forward and up. And then you're going to look up. And then we're going to push the legs, straighten the ankles and curve back forward. So again, flex the ankles, bend the knees, anchor the pelvis, push the pelvis forward, push the chest forward. Try to feel that scoop forward. Look up. So what you feel here is your hip flexors have anchored the torso. The further back you go, the more your stomach works. You don't want to go into a curve the other way. So we're arching. Sorry. We're arching, right? We're not letting our pelvis tilt at all. So another way to think about this is if I put my block back here, right behind my pelvis, and scooped it up into my sacrum, I'm going to push forward of that. I'm not going to let myself curve back onto it. There's this constant pushing forward and up, away from the block, right? And as you push forward and up away from the block, then it's going to go into your back. All right. Hopefully you got that, right? This is, the hard thing about teaching online like this. So hopefully you guys can send me questions after this, because it's complicated. All right, so let's just do that a couple more times. So interlace, stretch your legs out, hands back, and we're just going to go forward just a little bit. So we're going to flex our ankles, bend the knees, anchor the heels so that you can pull your pelvis forward. Then you're going to reach your chest forward, and then you're going to go up. You're going to look up. You're going to try to pull the hands apart. You feel your upper back, and then you're going to push the legs, point the feet, release the arms forward. And you're not going to drop your head. You're just going to lengthen the neck. So again, flex, pull the pelvis forward, reach the chest forward, lift, elbows open, lift up, and then reach long, point, relax the arms, and lengthen. All right. Part 1 and 2, right? So that was legs and then torso. So we're going to add the breath to this right now. So just pull your legs in. Actually, I'm going to sit on my cushion so I can let my knees drop a little bit more. All right. So what we're doing here is we're doing the underpinnings for this pranayama, basically. So actually, I read this week. They've created this little device now that you breathe in and out of. So you hold it in your mouth, kind of like an inhaler, and then you breathe in, and this little device creates resistance. And so you actually have to pull the air through this device that creates resistance, and then you push the air out against that resistance. So what it does is it exercises basically your respiratory muscles, and it will eventually increase your respiratory capacity and all of that. But what they're finding is that it's also creating this situation where people's heart rates and blood pressure are going down. Now, that device is new, but the idea and the pranayama is really old. All right, so how to create resistance without a device is either to close the back of your throat off in an ujjayi, or you can use the pursed lipped breathing. So I'm going to make a little circle of my lips. So I'm going to make a little, you can see I'm going to put it over here. So I'm going to do this basically with my lips, right? Like I'm going to try to suck up a straw, suck up fluid from a straw. So I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see my cheekbones going. right? So we're going to purse our lips and we're going to breathe in through that small opening. Just go. Now breathe out. You can feel the turbulence of the air as you breathe it in. Do it again. Go out. And you can easily feel the resistance going out, because if you let your cheek muscles go, your cheeks pop out like you're trying to blow up a balloon. And if you hold your cheeks so that they don't pop out, you can feel how much work your face has to do against the resistance of that air. So why are we doing that? We're doing that so that we can increase the length of the inhale and the exhale. So just take an inhale, just a regular inhale through your nose, and exhale. Doesn't take long to come to full capacity, right? And you don't feel any resistance. All right, so why are we doing this breath? Because that is the breath that we use with this movement that we've just worked. All right, so purse your lips, and we're going to inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And breathe normally. Yeah. So it restricts the amount of air, and that means that the air is entering the body more slowly. You have the resistance, and then what ends up happening is you can build capacity because you're actually slowing down the breathing rate, and you use more of what you have because the rate is slower. All right, so I know that that's a lot, and this format isn't conducive to questions. So we're going to put those two together, and then you'll see this particular exercise every week. And so we'll be able to practice. Now, just a caution here. When you do breathing that slowly, maybe after 3 or 4, you're going to feel like you need to take a couple extra breaths because you're not used to kind of that level of oxygen intake. It's a little bit lower and slower than you're used to. So you just take those extra breaths, right? Don't struggle. Because one of the things that happens with pranayama practice is, we all want to be better. It's just normal. That's why we're practicing. If we didn't care about ourselves and our abilities, we wouldn't be on our mats at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday. So when you come up against breathing exercises, once you start struggling, you're kind of defeating the purpose of the breathing exercise, because you're trying to keep the breathing in this very slow, relaxed mode. So as you increase the capacity, there's no anxiety on the top of that. That shifts us into the sympathetic nervous system. We want to stay in the parasympathetic so that we stay relaxed, so that we can keep that vagal innervation and all of that. So why I say that is because I don't know. I'm going to see how long it takes me to inhale and exhale. We're going to do 5 of these. Do your own pace. And if you have to stop at the bottom and take a couple extra breaths, do it. Don't put yourself into a position where you're straining and you're trying to hold, just another couple seconds and then I can inhale. Just the inhale. And if you practice consistently, that duration will get longer and longer. All right, so here we go. I'm not going to be able to breathe except for maybe in the last couple, because I'm going to try to talk through this so that you can, remember everything that I've just been talking about. All right, so our hands are interlaced behind our head. And we're pitched forward. You can feel your pelvis. There's an anterior tilt going on here. All right, so you inhale on this. I'm just going to keep talking. Flex the ankles, bend the knees. Pull the pelvis forward. Take that big inhale. Lift the ribs up, 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 up. Max inhale right at the top. Slow. Push the legs. Point the feet. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And inhale. Flex. Scoop the chest forward. Pick it up. Lift as high as you can. And exhale. Reach the legs. Reach the ankles. Point your feet long and over. Now I'm not going to talk. I'm going to breathe. And inhale. Pursed lips. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Release the arms. Let yourself hang. Couple big breaths. Really feel the ribs move to the side. And roll yourself up. All right. I know it's complicated. All right. So we're going to go past that. You'll see that next week. All right. We're going to pull our feet in. And let's do just one at a time. So pull your one leg up. Take your hand and fingers in between your toes. Grab a hold. We're just going to hold this today, not for very long. So we're going to pull our toes back and then point. Flex, point. Or you know, as best as you can with your fingers in here. And then you can add your ankle if you want. Actually, I'm not going to add my ankle. But what I want you to do, though, is take your thumb and give resistance to the big toe. Or you could use your other hand if you want. And try to pull the toes. You can feel those against your hand. And then try to pull that big toe. You can feel the muscle pop out in the bottom of the foot. And then release. And again, point, pull the toes, plantar flexion, pull, resist with the big toe, resist yes, pull my big toe. I could feel the cramp happening almost. Pull and release. Yeah, and then just one more. Big toe press, pull the toe, pull the toe, pull the toe, pull the toe, and release. Let that go. All right. Wiggle those toes. Other side. All right. So Corey told me this week that she has toe stretchers. I think that those are fun and really useful. I mean, it's easier than just holding your toes with your hand, right? Because who has time to do that? Well, actually, we probably could find time to do that. Because you're just sitting there. You could squeeze your toes, right? But we're trying to just get to that place where they just kind of immediately relax, right? That's what we're doing. We're expanding the range of the muscles in our foot. And a lot of times, well, especially if you wear tight shoes, these poor guys get squashed into that small space for a long period of time, and then they just kind of stay in a shortened position. So let's grab a hold of that big toe. Either you could pull with your opposite hand or push with your thumb, and we're going to pull the toes down. Try to pull the big toe down. My right toe is way stronger than my left toes, and release. And again, go pull, pull, resist it with your hands. Feel that muscle pop, all the muscles pop under your foot. Might not be that comfortable at first, and release. 2 more. Pull, pull, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, and release. And 1 more. Pull it, pull it, pull, pull, yep, and release. Let that go. Wiggle them. All right, so next week we'll add the second part of that. I'm just going to keep the little pieces going. I'm just going to stretch the toes a little bit. All right, moving on to the hands. We'll add the second piece of this today. So we didn't do the wrist stretch because we didn't do the cats, but we had a little bit of hand work with the pulling and the pushing. So we're just going to go right to this. We're going to go here. Our thumbs are going to go away from us. So I like to put my thumbs on my back and then push away. Your hands are going to go down. Move them back. Wiggle your butt forward. All right, now press your chest up. Press your hands into the ground and feel the front of your chest stretch. And then you're feeling, the wrist. It's the wrist, but it's mainly the lower arm, not so much the wrist. So our chest is lifting and you're feeling the stretch. If you don't feel a stretch, walk your butt even more forward. Lift. 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 All right, now for those of us that don't have our index fingers down, not the index finger, but the base of the index finger, that first knuckle, you're gonna open your hands a little bit until you can feel the base of that index finger on the ground, and then you're gonna push again. Now I really feel this stretch on my little finger side of my arm. Keep rotating your thumb and your index finger into the ground. Keep lifting your chest. Lifting the chest. Another 20 seconds. One more time. Lift and release. And rotate or squeeze. So it's this side of my arm I really feel that on. Couple nice wrist circles. Try to get as much activity from the fingers as you can. Go both ways a couple times. Alright. Now we're going to do 1 minute the other way. So we interlace. And you're going to push the thumbs down towards the ground and open. So the elbows will be facing in. I can't get there. I got to open my hands. And then I can be there. All right, so again, chest lift. If you're hyperextended in your elbows, bend your elbows just a little bit. Keep lifting, keep that elbow bent just a little, right? So you don't want to strain your elbows. You don't want to go to that place where your elbows are in that hyperextension and then you put weight on them. That's a perfect way to overstretch those ligaments. So keep lifting. You know, I know once you open your hands, it's a little tricky because right now what I'm feeling is that I have more rotation on my left arm than my right arm. So my stretch is a little bit uneven. And I didn't do this stretch at all this week, so I didn't really get anywhere with it. Couple more. And release that. Rotate. So we're going to come around after you do a couple rotations just to an easy down dog. To kind of put some weight on the hands and let that pattern be absorbed. So spread your hands nice and wide. Be very conscious of this. All right. Tuck the toes, feel the fingers, push away. You might not feel anything, but if you try to lift the outside edge of your wrist, you might feel a little bit more of what we kind of worked on. So just lift the sit bones, anterior pelvic tilt, let your legs stretch a bit. And come on down. Back to sitting. All right. We're going to grab our block. Put it between our knees. Take our feet sit bone width. I like to go just a little bit more than that because I have such poor internal rotation, and then I turn my toes in a little bit. All right, and we're going to squeeze that block. So what we're doing is we're activating that inner thigh line with our legs parallel, really, and there's just a slight inward rotation. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to put our hands back behind us, and we're going to straighten our elbows. So we're going to get a wrist stretch, and we're squeezing. Push your pelvis forward. Now, take your hands and try to push them open on the mat. Don't let them move, but try to slide them to the side of your mat. As you do that, you feel your chest come up because you've activated a little bit more of the shoulder girdle without even thinking about it, right? So we're not collapsed. So just feel that. Keep the block squeezing. Or actually, keep squeezing the block and lift the chest up. Keep pushing out. Feel the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades, as you push out, change position. Just release that. You can feel the whole thing collapse, right? So you push out, Lift big, push into your hands. Your wrists are in that really kind of not severe, but you know, pretty deep flexion, right? Keep pressing through, or your elbows straight. Couple more. Don't let the chest drop. Keep pushing out on your hands. We have another 15 seconds to go. Pelvis is what? Tilting forward, right? If you push your chest up, it kind of automatically happens. Squeeze and release your spine. Release your hands. Now we're going to go into a monkey hand, just right beside your hips. So backs of the hands on the ground. Let them release a little bit and then straighten. And release that. We're going to do that one more time. This time we're going to lift up into a reverse table. So, hands back, fingers pointing towards you. Bend the knees, heels at least as wide as your sit bones. Turn the toes just slightly in. Press the chest up. Push the hands out, squeeze the block, pelvis forward, and up you go, right? Push. Keep squeezing and pushing. Find those sit bones. Push your sit bones towards your knees. Lift the chest up. Spread the hands. Try to spread the hands and push to the sides. Squeeze the block. As you squeeze the block, you should be able to get a little bit more activation of the sit bones towards your knees. Low back goes long. One more time. Squeeze the block. Push the sit bones. Take a big inhale into your chest. Push open on your arms and sit. Down. Stretch it forward. Flip the hands over. And then you have this block right here. You can go down and put your head on the block if you want. And roll up. All right, again. This builds up into the east stretches. People have difficulty with east stretch because it requires that whole back line to engage. And here, we're only trying to just really get the knee to the hamstring. Of course, the calf line is also working, but it's not quite so hard as the full east stretch when you have the knees bent. You can feel a little bit more ability to push the sit bones towards your legs. All right, so hands back, fingers towards you, feet out, squeeze that block, push up. So this one's a little easier. My feet are too close. So what are we doing? We are taking the sit bones, pushing them towards our knees, squeezing the block. That picks that whole line up. Breathing the chest up, taking your hands, pushing them on the ground towards the side. Keep the elbows a little bent, those of you that are hyperextended out there, right? And you try that again. Squeeze the block. Drive the sit bones towards your knees. Pelvis comes up a little higher maybe. Inhale, push open on your arms. Breathe. Again, squeeze the block. Drive the sit bones towards your knees. Push open on your hands. We're going to do that one more time. Squeeze the block. Push the sit bones towards your knees. Push open on your hands. Take a big inhale, go up, and sit bones down. Stretch the legs long. Hands over, forward bend. Flex the ankles, reach your chest. So feel that pelvis push. I'm not going to relax over and go to that block right now. I'm trying to get more of an active position here. So I'm flexing my ankles, pushing through my heels. Taking my pelvis, pushing it forward. Rolling the shoulders back, feeling the hands on the ground. My hands really aren't doing anything. Pushing. And roll up. All right. So, bend the knees, soles of the feet on the ground. Actually, you know what? Let's move our sit bones forward and go down onto our backs here first. Give your wrists and shoulders a little break. So we're going to do what we're going to do sitting here, and then we'll go up and do it sitting. So let that left knee open to the side. Anchor that pelvis. We did this last week. See how much, inner thigh opening you have. Pull it up. Take your right leg, drop it open, keep that left side anchored. Just get a read on how much inner thigh opening you have. And pull it up. Now, take that right knee and go over. Reaching the knee towards the inside. Let your pelvis come up. Let the left knee open. We're not going to pay attention to that though. Just keep trying to pull this right knee down towards your ankle, really. All right? And so you're feeling this top line stretch from your hip down across the, quad. I'm almost down to my ankle, not quite. So I'm pulling with my inner thigh. And come up. Left leg, pull it in. Let your hip go. Pull it down. Use your inner thigh. So we're really focused on the left leg, the top leg, stretching the top line down to the knee. Pulling it. I'm still not down there. I have quite a bit of distance before I get to that leg or to the ground. Pulling it. So keep a sustained pull with the inner thigh and just try to feel this release. And come up. One more time. Let that left leg open and then pull that right knee down. Let your pelvis go. And then just actively pull. Keep that right shoulder down, and then just feel that diagonal from your shoulder, through your pelvis, down that thigh. And I'm almost there. Pull. So for those of you that are already down, then press that knee into the floor or into your ankle. And release. And left knee down. Pull. Pull. Try to release the ribs. You're going to feel that in your hip flexor. You're going to feel it in your belly. Keep breathing. Maybe some of you won't feel it at all. If you have a really big stretch across that quad. And up to this position. All right, so now roll and come up. Same thing, seated. So we're going to put our hands back behind. Now, and stretch one more time. Now, if your wrists have had enough, you can flip them over and be here. But if you can, stay here. Stay here. Chest left. So we're going to take that right leg and we're going to drop it to the inside. We're not going to let our pelvis go. And then pull it back up. Take your left leg, drop it to the inside. Or pull it. I have to pull mine to the inside. And let it come up. And again, right leg in, squeeze, and come up. Left leg in, squeeze, and come up. Keep doing this. Some of you actually will be able to get those legs down to the ground or close. This is very difficult for me. And so why we want to stay anchored with that sit bone is because we just are finding the internal rotation in the hip. Keep the chest lifted. Pull. Now if you feel anything on the inside of your knee, you need to pull your leg closer, right? So that there's not so much of an angle at the knee. And people that will feel that are people that have trouble rotating in because the knee will want to start taking some of the actually stretch. Keep going back and forth. See how much you have. All right, now next time you get back to your right knee, let your pelvis lift up and try to take it down as far as you can. Keep rotating through that right shoulder and then pull up. And then left leg, pull it in, let that shoulder anchor you. The pelvis is going to try to pull it open. You felt this on the ground. Up, right, pull in. Keep going, side to side. Pull in. If you can get it down to your foot or the ground, do it. But right now we're going for just the motion of it. Try to keep your opposite leg kind of up to the ceiling. Don't let it totally flop open here. Keep so both inner thighs are really pulling, right? Next time that right leg comes down, we're going to stay there, pull it in, press it down, roll that right shoulder back. I feel a huge stretch across my shoulder. My wrist is starting to get super tired. I'm pressing that knee into the ground. We're going to hold this. Keep lifting your chest. And then we're going to release that. And left leg down. And slowly release that up. Release your hands. And come all the way down onto your spine. And then I have to rotate my wrists. That was a long hold in that position. All right. The hip circles from last week. So if you can grab your ankles without popping your heels off the ground, you do it. If you can't, you just leave your arms stretching towards your legs. Tuck your tailbone, reach it up to the bridge, all right? So now we're going to push to the right, circle down, push back to the right, circle up. Push to the left, circle down, push back to the left, circle up, and to the right, and down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, and down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, and down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, and down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, and down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, and down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, and down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, and down. Inhale, go as far as you can, and up. Exhale right, circle down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, circle down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, circle down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, circle down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, circle down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, circle down. Inhale left, and up. Exhale right, circle down. Inhale right, and up. Exhale left, circle down. Inhale left, one more, and right, circle down. Inhale right, and up, and left, circle down. Inhale left, and up. Release, down through the back. Pull your knees in. And let yourself rock. Stretch the legs straight up to the ceiling. Flex the ankles. So pull them towards you and feel that low back. It's the waist. Your waist is really pressing into the ground. Now, don't use your hands. Pull your pubic bone and then release. Pull the pubic bone and release. Pull the pubic bone and release. Just a couple more of those. Feel the change in your pelvis. As you pull your pubic bone, you feel your tailbone reaching more up to the ceiling as you get that posterior tilt on the pelvis. All right? Now, this time, stay there. Hold on to your guts. Right? This is the inhale position. Exhale, we lower 45 degrees. Inhale, up. Exhale, 45 degrees or lower. Inhale, up. Exhale, pull the pubic bone up. Inhale, up. As you lower, exhale, pubic bone pulls to your rib cage. And inhale, up. Exhale, pull the pubic bone up. Inhale, up. Exhale, reach the legs down. Keep that waist anchored. Inhale, up. Again, reach long and out. Inhale, up. Again, long and out. Inhale, up. Exhale, long and out. Inhale, up. Last one. Exhale, long and out. Inhale, up. Bend the knees, wrap the arms, squash them in, couple breaths. Legs up. Flex the ankles. So we're going to lower this one and we're going to hold. Now, it's going to be a 1-minute hold, so you let your legs go up and down like you need in terms of, or to accommodate really like, your level of strength, right? So the other thing is really keep that waist pressed. If you want to pull your upper body up to help that, you can, or you could just leave it down. So lower first 45. Keep this pulling, keep the legs reaching. Just try to breathe normal through your chest as you pull. If that's good, just keep them there. If it's too much, pull it up. Feel the change in the pelvis. Really go by how much pressure that pelvis has into the ground. So then if you want to go lower, just really feel the waist. One minute. Pull them up. Bend the knees. Pull them in. Legs up. Whoops. Grab your block. Now, this is that side work. Not talking much about it because I've already talked about this. I've talked so much this class. I'm going to continue talking, but not about this. So you can either have your block there or you can have your block here. You can bend your knees or you can keep your legs straight. So if your knees are bent, I'll just demonstrate this for the first one. So we're going to go down, inhale to the side. Do not let the legs touch the ground. Keep the weight in the pelvis, keep reaching through your right shoulder. And then we come up. And then we go. Inhale to the other side. Keep that shoulder down. I'm going to the right now. I started to the left. I'm not really sure why. And then exhale up. If you're going straight legs. Inhale, side. Exhale, up. Inhale, right side. Exhale, up. Inhale, left side. Exhale, up. Inhale, right side. Exhale, up. Inhale, left side. Exhale, up. Inhale, right side, keep pulling. My shoulders coming up a little bit. Inhale, left. Exhale, use those inner thighs. Inhale, right. Exhale, up. Inhale, left. Exhale, pull with the hip flexors. Inhale, right. Exhale, up. Inhale, left. Exhale, up. Inhale, right. Exhale, up. Inhale, left. Exhale, up. Inhale, right. Exhale, up. Inhale, left. Exhale, up. Inhale, right. Exhale, last one. Inhale, left. Exhale, up. Inhale, right. Exhale, up. Release. Alrighty. Roll yourself up. Get your 2 blocks. So going for the hip flexor work that we did last week. So you can use 2 blocks, or you can just lift your pelvis up and put 1 block underneath you like this. The orientation, this edge, this edge is the same as the spine. So you're going to lay out it. I'm kind of liking this better a little bit because it seems like it's a little bit more of a stable platform. So I come up, put that bottom edge on my sacrum, reach the hands down, and down we go. So supported bridge. Now, if you don't have blocks, you could use a pillow under here. It won't be as intense, so maybe you might want that. So here we're just kind of letting ourselves get used to this extension. And you'll notice this whole series is just back and forth like this. Hold on to your block and then pick your legs up. Let them kind of go towards you. So that your low back is now reaching towards the ground. Your pelvis is in a posterior tilt. It's curved. Keep your left leg where it is. Stretch your right leg up. Reach it long. Now if you let your stomach go completely, the whole thing rotates and you feel your belly going up to the ceiling. Pull the pubic bone back towards your ribs. Keep the stomach. This left leg is there to help you. And then you're just letting that right hip flexor stretch. Some of you will have this heel on the ground, right? So if that's you, good. I wish I had that. I don't. So I'm just going to keep working here. Pushing out my heel, reaching long through this leg. Keeping the toes pointing up to the ceiling. Don't let the leg rotate out. You know, the object here is to keep the pelvis stable so the leg And the hip flexor and the quad can just stretch away from the pelvis. And then just pull this knee in. Let it squash down into your chest. Feel the whole low back drop. It's a really nice stretch, really, if you have that tight low back. And then take that left leg, stretch it out. My left hip flexor is tighter. Then just let your pelvis go to feel that rock. Now pull the pubic bone. Keep a hold of your pelvis. Try to relax that hip flexor and the quad. Well, the quad can't relax. Well, it's kind of interesting. Your quad, 3 of them are attached down into the knee to the thigh, so they work to extend the knee. So those we're really trying to keep a hold of. But then the top one, the rectus, goes to your hip, and it's a hip flexor. So we're trying to actually work 3 of them and let the top one go. It's kind of tricky, right? Keep reaching. And then let that knee bend. Pull it in. Let the knees drop. Hold on to your blocks. Stretch your legs to straight. So this is a variation of the candle. Just let the hamstrings go. Now pull those legs up. Take your pubic bone. Pull it towards your face. And we're going to slowly start lowering the legs. Keep your low back long. It's really easy to feel the change. I'm kind of losing my blocks here. Pulling that lower stomach. You can really feel this here. If this position is too much, you go higher. I like to get to that point where my lower belly is shaking, and I'm there now. And now what you're going to do is you're going to bend the knees, soles of the feet on the ground, and just let your pelvis go. Keep the inner thighs kind of working. If I let my inner thighs go, my knees flop open. Just let this stretch a couple minutes here. Or not a couple minutes. Kind of regain. And then pick up, roll yourself down to flat. Pick that right leg up, cross it over, and take this twist to the left. Knee can come down or shoulder can come down. You can kind of go somewhere in between. Just breathe big through the ribs, especially the lower ribs. Slowly roll back to center. Change legs. And release that by rolling back to the center. Stretch both legs long into the corpse. Roll them in and out. And breathe. Slowly reach and roll yourself up to sitting. All right, so a lot of pieces, a lot of very small, detailed things to understand. It's not that overall exhaustion that you feel at the end of the standing balance. But I promise if you stay with me by the end, you'll be there. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.
You